Over the last nearly 6 years, this channel has tried to primarily focus on delivering a timely and relevant analysis of the news of the day as seen through the lens of a military intelligence warfighter. Cold, clinical, unattached, and unemotional. Today's video might be a little bit different than that. There is something that has occurred that has happened before that I've let go. Well, today, I'm not going to let it go. I never want anyone to get the idea that there is never a reason to be upset about something. And trigger warning, I might get a little bit angry in today's video because a very, very large channel that has stolen content from me before has gotten away with it again. This time I'm going to call them out. The first time I forgave it, even though it was undeniable. It was many years ago. My channel was smaller, and I didn't feel like I had enough legs to stand on at that time to take on a channel of this size. So trigger warning. This might upset some people. I'm sure many of you know who Tim Pool is. He is one of the biggest social media influencers on the planet. He has 6 YouTube channels, millions and millions of subscribers, and incredible reach. He has opinions all across the board. He's not all the way to the left. He's not all the way to the right. And he has never shied away from controversy. But many years ago, he ripped off some information that I was putting out about Venezuela. Some of you might remember that. Now, we're not going to focus on that too much. We're going to get to it later. This particular piece of information he ripped off was only in the last 24 hours. Now, many of you also remember that around late 2018, 2019, I was talking about a certain paradigm that might occur during a grid down, power down, end of the world, shit is the fan kind of situation. I was saying many people don't realize we have 1.5 million people locked up in this country, and it takes an enormous amount of money and time and logistics to run those prisons. They have food trucks that are coming and going continually. They have all sorts of different healthcare and maintenance and all sorts of things that have to be working on the outside of the prison for the prison to work. And if they can't maintain that supply chain, they'll open up the prisons. Not only will that present a problem, it'll present a problem for people who think that they can guard their little mini grocery stores that they've decided to put a little fire base on top of all by themselves. These prisoners are going to come take that stuff from you, and little minor thugs are going to become huge cartels overnight. They've only got to get one guy caught literally with his pants down or asleep, and they're going to get his gun safe. They're going to get all of his prepper supplies. They're going to get everything. It's only going to take a few of them to arm these guys to the teeth. Now, some might say, okay, that's great. What did Tim Pool say about this? Well, let's just be clear about something. On my channel, over the last 6 years, I've garnered 43 million views. Four of my top 5 videos and 5 of my top 7 are this topic and this topic alone. I'm sure a lot of people think I'm the Antarctica guy or the Venezuela guy or many other different things that we've talked about. But like I said, 4 of the top 5, accounting for over 3.5 million views, are this specific topic alone. To say that this topic has never been covered and nobody has ever talked about it would be unbelievable for anybody out there who has the reach of a Tim Pool. He has many, many people who work for him that scour the net, that scour the web, looking for all sorts of different things and topics to talk about. And had he not ever talked about something that I was talking about on my channel before, I would probably let this pass. But let's hear what he allowed to go out on his channel less than 24 hours ago.
One other thing, I've never seen this anywhere in print or in the media, but a huge threat and vulnerability we face in the United States is the 1.5 million Americans in jail. 1.5 million Americans in jail. So when there's a pandemic, a 60% lethal pandemic, do you think guards are going to go to work and risk? They're not going to go to work. If the electric grid goes down, how do prisons work? I used to be a county commissioner. I've been in jails. Jails cannot function without electricity. That's how you control all the doors. It's all electric.
Will they open or will they stay locked?
They are probably going to come open. I mean, there's generator backup. Hospitals will claim, oh, we've got generator backup. They've got backup for maybe 3 days at the most.
That's a good thing.
So you're going to have 1.5 million Americans. Most of them aren't bad criminals, but a lot of them are, who are in jail, and they have absolutely no preparedness. They've got no house. They've got no food. So when they get out of their jails, either released or they just get out on their own, what are they going to do? They're going to maraud. It's the only way they're going to stay alive. They don't have a house. They don't have home and food and water. They've got to go out and steal from other people, probably kill them in the process to survive. No one ever talks about that. Our government is not getting us prepared for events that experts say are inevitable.
I disagree on the prison thing, though. Prisons would be one of the safest and most secure places to remain. So if you're there, you've got a bunch of guys, you've already got gangs, so if there's no more guards, then there might be a lot of infighting. If that is the case, the end result is going to be someone who owns a fortress now. They may go and maraud, but they're going to use the prison as like a fortress base of operations and control it. And there's weapons in there. So they are instantly going to be armed, armored, and determined, and have facilities, and it's going to be look, I'll say it's worse than you're predicting. Prisoners will get out and go maraud. They're going to have a fortress base of operations with weapons, and then
almost verbatim from virtually every video I did talking about this. Now, Tim has a little bit of a different take. He thinks they're going to use the prison as some type of a base. That's kind of Walking Dead-ish. No, they're not going to need to. Why? Because there's a bunch of people out there right now who have tons of guns, who have beautiful, warm, nice, big beds to sleep in, and houses, and all sorts of crap stocked up in the basement. And the one big thing that prisoners miss: women. They're not going to go back to the prison and use it as some kind of a fortress. They're going to go out there and they're going to go into the neighborhoods and they're going to commandeer houses and they're going to commandeer cars and they're going to kill people. And they're going to act like cartels. They're not going to run it out of the prison. They're not going to run it out of the prison. They're going to run it out of the neighborhoods. Because those houses have deadbolts. Those houses have all sorts of security measures, vehicles. They're not going back to that prison. They're never going back to that prison. And it's going to be a security nightmare for forces that are already, security forces, that are already stretched thin. And the reason I colored the map the way that I did is because of the places that have the amount of money to stand up enough security forces to fight back. Pardon me, I will admit, perhaps that California, I overestimated their desire. They have the money to do it. They might not have the desire to do it. Now, Florida, I'm right. Texas, I'm right. Around D.C., Virginia, this area, you bet. They are going to have all sorts of forces protecting people, even up around New York. But out here in the Midwest, these places just don't have enough security forces to deal with the prison problem. They just don't. And there are going to be all sorts of people who think they're prepared to deal with it who aren't. Now, Tim Pool. How many of you know who Jennifer Veterans for Truth is? Way back in 2018, around this same time, we were still talking about the issue as well with Venezuela. and how Washington, D.C. was reading you a big bunch of baloney and crap about how socialism collapses countries and blah, 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 blah. We proved that was completely false, totally debunked it. So did Jennifer Veterans for Truth. But she went after a guy named Luke Rudkowski, who was one of Tim Pool's lackeys, who was trying to debunk what I was saying about Venezuela that has been proven right. Now, I let that go. Now, this is 14 November 2018. We are change. And they were spouting all of this pro-Trump, anti-socialism garbage, not understanding the difference between North American Democrat socialism and social democracy. It was U.S. sanctions that collapsed Venezuela, not socialism. They weren't collapsed, nobody was starving, until the U.S. sanctioned every country in the world that was going to sell Venezuela food. We proved this. Beyond the shadow of any reasonable doubt, July 11, 2018, October 18, 2018, the videos that I was doing talking about the prison issue were right at the same time we were talking about Venezuela. So they knew who I was. There's no way Tim Pool can make the claim, I've never heard of Florida Maquis. I have no idea who he is, or that he'd ever talked about the prison situation, or blah, 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 blah. That's total bunk. That is total bunk, and provably total bunk. Thank you, Jennifer Veterans for Truth, for pointing this out as well. I was talking with her about this morning and literally ready to go volcanic. Millions and millions and millions of subscribers. All sorts of plaques and awards from YouTube. One of the biggest players on the field right now is taking my information and rehashing it for views. If you would like to see this video, it is on Timcast IRL. And it is from, the title of the video is Stock Market Drops to 2-Year Low, the Collapse is Coming, 109,000 views one day ago, about 24 hours ago. As he's put out 6 or 8 different things since then, a couple of shorts. But this is the point. There's no way he can say he never heard of me, or my channel, or what my channel was primarily stood up on. Basically, 4 of the top 5 videos that millions and millions and millions of people have seen, and 5 of the top 7. We even have another one down here, so really a grand total of 5, 6, 7 7 different videos, accounting for 3.5 million views. Not including the ones that he saw talking about Venezuela. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no explanation other than he's allowing his people to steal content knowingly. And to hear the guy say, I've never seen this in any print media or any reported anywhere. Tim Pool knows better. Tim Pool knows better. That's what we talked about for months and months, and so many people. Oh, they're going to gas them. We've seen the line. It's just a ridiculous story about gassing the prisoners. They're going to open the doors just like they are now. Just like they are now. What did Biden say he was going to do? He's going to drop all the charges against everybody who has any kind of a simple possession, calling on all the governors to drop the simple possession charges. And just open the jails. No bail. Let them go. Don't even lock them up to begin with. You mark my words. This is what they're going to do. And the next step in this, I know all you preppers and gun boys think that you're prepared. You ain't. You ain't prepared. Because a lot of you are lone wolf types. And you think that you and your giant closet full of guns and your thousands of rounds of ammunition are going to deter them. They're not. You give me 5 guys, just armed with knives. We'll come take your gun. You got to sleep sometime. You got to sit on the toilet sometime. You got to shower sometime. You got to be eating sometime. And you can't guard all 4 cardinal directions simultaneously. We'll just throw rocks at your house for days and keep you awake. After 48 to 72 hours, you're not getting a sight picture on anybody, brother. With no sleep. We'll just have one guy throw rocks at the east side of your house. You run over there. Another guy throws it at the west side. By the time you get over there, he runs away. We'll keep you running all day long. We'll keep you awake, break windows, and retreat. Even if there's 2 of you. Very little chance. Very little chance. Or we'll just burn the place out. Firebomb the place and run. Somebody's got to put out the fire, right? Anybody who's putting out the fire sure as heck isn't going to be standing guard duty, are they? See, you'd need a team. You'd need a team, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. And there are guys out there that just think that they are, a force unto themselves. You watch. And like I said, it's only going to take 12, 2 dozen, 3 dozen guys that have closets full of weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition and entire, grocery stores in their basements full of preps. The prisoners take those, and then they get all of those hundreds of weapons. The guys who are prepared are now going to have to deal with a mobile fighting force, not just a couple of thugs with rocks and knives. Then what are you going to do? Think about it. Do the math. You won't stand a chance against these guys. And like even Tim Pool said, they have the gangs. They have the organization. Shit hits the fan, power goes down. Long term, you're screwed. You're screwed if it's just you or maybe you and your wife and you've got all that crap that they want. They'll find you. They'll find you. And besides, they won't even go for you right away. They'll find some older couple that's got some gun stuck away somewhere, and those old folks, they sleep real heavy at night. They'll break in. And so they'll come at you, and they'll have maybe a little handgun or shotgun or something. But that's all they'll need, because they'll be in a group. 5, 6, 7 of them. And 5, 6, 7 guys with, little revolver and shotguns versus one guy with a rifle. It's no match. You'll be overmatched immediately. So, anyway, this is what we talked about for a long time back in 18 and 19. And now, apparently according to the rules of social media, now it can be believed because one of the big influencers has allowed it to be believed. It's just disgusting. But I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.